Val Richards at his house in Rugby in Tasmania. Do you remember the date that you joined the Australian Army?
Gee whiz. I was 15 and I was in the 6th Garrison Battalion, but I can't remember the date.
Now, was that the local militia?
More or less as an home defence unit at that particular time.
Yeah.
The 6th Garrison Battalion.
Okay, and when did you join the 2nd 40th?
In 1941.
41?
Yeah.
So it had already been formed and you joined a little later?
Oh yes, that's right, we were the last reinforcements.
Okay.
And we reinforced them on Timor.
And how old were you when you joined this?
I was 16 when I went into it, but a couple of months later in November,
yeah,
or a month or two later, whatever it was, I was 17. 17 when I was taken prisoner.
Okay, but you lied about your age.
Yeah, a lot of us did.
Now, did you have to get consent from your parents or anything like that to join?
My father wouldn't sign my papers, but my grandmother would. So I made her an allotment and she signed my papers.
Really?
Yeah. That's how I come to get in.
God. So what training did you undergo?
I had 12 months or a bit over 12 months, whatever it was, in the garrison training down at South Arm and Pierce's Point, Shannon, around about the country, you know, guarding different pipelines and that, going into the power stations in that early period.
Okay.
And
so, were you put straight into C Company when you joined the
when
40th?
when we were, there was around about 300 of us, and they sent us up to Burdham, was it? No,
Brighton?
From Brighton, yes, to I can't think of the name of the camp now. I'm getting old and dead. And we had a Christmas Day at Tarawi.
Yeah.
At Burdham, I should say.
Yeah.
And then we went from there onto Tarawi, and we had the old cattle trucks there, and we was all brewing and carrying on, you know, like blokes do.
Yeah.
And we had the canvas roofs there, and there was dust and soot everywhere, so I got on the roof of the old train.
Okay.
But going to Darwin, see, in those days.
Okay.
That was it.
The GAN?
There was no railway right through in those days.
No.
But and from the Burdham, I think it was called, to Darwin, I think it was Burdham. And we arrived in Darwin at, what's the name of the camp, Winnelly. We stayed at Winnelly there for about a month, and they stuck us on a ship called the
Zealandia?
No, it wasn't the Zealandia, we were the last Rios.
Oh, okay.
And there was the Kalama, or the Kalimba. It was
Okay.
a Dutch boat.
Yeah.
And we arrived on time or at Cape Ann where Bligh landed. Right where Bligh landed from the open boat is where we landed in Dutch Timor, as it was in those days.
Son of a Star.
Uh,
Was there a big rock wall just leading out to where your boat was?
I can't remember, it was a bit of a wharf there,
Yeah.
if I remember right. And I can always remember little sharks swimming around, these kids taking no notice and swimming in, making only small ones.
Yes.
And that's all I remember much about that.
Yeah.
And then they took us by truck to that airdrome, Pinfui. Pinfui, yeah.
Yep.
And we're there and we guarding the planes and that. And the first raid come over, we was all standing on top of the trenches on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Side of the airdrome. Well, the next thing, we thought they were, because we'd had an American Kitty Hawk squadron over, and they'd gone and left one plane there which was damaged somehow or other. And anyhow, these first raid come, and the next thing found out that they wasn't Yanks because they machine gunned all the way along the trenches. And anyway, that passed over okay, and we had a couple of raids after that, and that's about all I can tell you.
The first time you saw that Japanese plane?
The first time the last time I wanted to know, I seen.
Was he flying really low that you could see the
Oh no, there's a squadron of them, about roughly, at a rough guess, say 20 to 30,
God.
roughly. And anyway, they And then we had a couple more raids after that, and I got up in one of them huts, stacked bed and the dry snow got around me, and I started strafing. And I finished up down at,
Babot?
Babot, yeah. Babot.
Now, you were C Company, and C Company were in those trenches and pillboxes around the Penfui.
That's right.
Now, where was your pillbox and trenches? Where was
My builder was
position?
in the kitchen down at Babot. That was working in the kitchen there.
So C Company was not only the airfield, but also at Babot, at the B echelon.
Oh, well, I was only a single bloke with it then, I suppose.
Okay.
I don't know, I was only a kid.
Where was you were in Strickland's platoon?
Yes, that's on Penfui, yeah.
Penfui.
Yeah.
Now, you said you were in the trenches there, right?
That's right, at the side of the drone.
On which side? The south side or north side?
No, if you was facing down towards Kopang, which was down a big hill,
Yeah.
we would be on the left-hand side. That's facing down that way.
Down the way.
Yeah, but I can't remember of any trenches on the right-hand side. It was only on the left. And apart from that, there was a Lockheed Hudson.
Okay, you got the runway. The runway there with the south coast, right? Actually, why don't we just draw these maps afterwards?
There's the aerodrome there, like a square, right?
Yep.
And there's a road going down to Kopang that way.
Yep.
Now, we had our trenches like that. And the others didn't have any trenches on it at all.
And there's a pillbox right in the middle of the runway on the south side.
I can't remember that.
Yeah. So it's still there.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't remember that.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was a poor bloody Lockheed that was loaded up and it had too much on it.
Yeah.
And I saw one poor buggers burned to death. He just took off the end of the drone.
Yeah.
They come in the world was having our mess at the time in the kitchen. And down came the weirdest wine, and then you just heard him hit, woof, it just went up in a big ball. And the poor damn pilot, there was the burnt black, he had the broken wheel, like still said, the one leg was in the air like that, just slumped over like that over the wheel. All those burnt to
Did
death.
it crash right near
There was
you?
11 of them on it.
Did it crash right there by you?
Yeah, right at the end of the drone, right at the far end, when he took off and couldn't make it, and boom. And then a nip fighter, I told you about that, he, a few days later, the pilot got out of it. How he got out, I don't know, but he did.
Yeah.
I forget whether he was taken off or whether it was stationary, I've forgotten now.
Yeah.
And that went up in smoke.
Good on. So, why were you down at Babot? When did you first hear that the Japanese had landed? Oh, for a start, these ACAC boys. Did you ever see them come up to the aerodrome?
No, I never saw them come to the aerodrome. They was down at Babot when the 79th. As I said before, they were a wonderful mob of promise.
So
They were a terrific lot of blokes.
you were in Babot and what were you doing in Babot when the Japanese landed?
Working in the kitchen.
Working in the kitchen.
Yeah, and on the air raid siren.
On the air raid side.
It was on the big tree.
Now, did you climb up? Were you the guy who climbed up into the tree and was operating the air raid siren when Sterling told you to stop it?
No, it could have been. I reckon, but by bloody oath, I'd have come down pretty quick. It was at the far end of the kitchen, up a bit of a hill, and these bloody planes had come over, and I'd yank on that bloody siren and then clear off into the side of the buggy.
Now, there was a seaplane circling around.
Yeah, that's right. He was a bugger. That he was machine gunning.
Yeah,
a fair whack.
and you're in the kitchen when that happened.
Yeah, more or less.
And then they started to bomb.
Yeah, they did.
Did they bomb anywhere near you?
Pretty close.
Okay.
They'd make a hell of a bloody noise. I didn't wait to find out.
Okay, and then how shortly after that did all the paratrooper planes come over?
Well, just before they landed, Captain Sterling came up and sent a patrol of us off.
Yeah.
And that's when we walked out, and a mile or two later on, walked right onto them.
Were you sent on the patrol up the main road?
No, not up the main road, it's up a side track.
Yeah.
And
Yep, by the track, yeah.
and there was 11 of us all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we got.
Now that was the road that came off the main road on the track and it went up a slight
on a slope like that, and then around to to the left.
Side, okay.
That's on a bit of a hill.
And when you're up, and when you made your way up there, what happened?
Well, as I said, I walked right on, thought they were Dutch troops.
Yeah.
Because those are all the Indonesian, more or less. And as I said, they took us in, took me being the youngest in first,
Yeah.
and questioned me.
So you pretty much surrounded it straight away.
Oh, bloody okay, there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And anyway, well, one of them gave me a drink out of his canteen there, and sat and asked me my age, like going like this business.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, I wouldn't have known the word then, Horseshoe baby. It means Australian baby.
Yeah.
And then they treated us all right, that mob did, until later on the Surrey Ridge. It was a different story then.
When you went out on that patrol, when did you meet? This was there was a bombing of Plapalima. They were bombing the heavy battery there,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were injured, and the injured were put on the trucks and sent towards Champlong. Did you ever meet up with? Did those people ever come to Babone?
No.
Okay, so
See, we didn't meet up with them at all because the nips had us, and we went down to that crossroads I was talking about, right on a Surrey, you see.
Yeah.
And they, as I said, they gave us a couple of big tins of meat to eat that night.
Yeah.
And
were you carrying anything while you were walking up there?
yeah, I was carrying a jetpack on me back and the bloody, because they took all our bloody gear, and a bowl of sugar in one hand, a bowl of coffee and that.
Okay, so you were surrounded at close quarters and they questioned you. And next thing you know, you're carrying all that stuff up to a Sally.
Yeah, down.
Yeah, down there.
Yeah.
Now, there were some people who were tied to a tree and used for bayonet practice. At
That was another section of us.
Another section.
Yeah, that was
They weren't captured at the same time as you.
No, that was a poor little shorty Rose, and I wouldn't know the other fellas, poor buggers, but they
Guthrie?
tied him. They who?
Guthrie?
No, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But they had him tied to the trees, apparently,
Yeah.
and they banged him all over the back, and he died later in hospital.
So, when Sterling sent your lot up on the patrol and you were captured,
Yeah.
This was another section that decided to head out, and they got captured.
Got captured.
So it's kind of a mystery what actually happened to them because they were all killed. No one actually knows how they...
Well, I can tell you how they got killed.
Yeah, bayonets. And then...
No, they didn't have their throats cut, they were shot.
Okay.
Yeah, one bloke, as I said, that was Ellis Hawks.
Yeah.
When we were walking down after that nip was, I'll tell you, he gave me a drink out of his bottle on that. He asked him, could he go out into a bunga? That was it.
Yeah.
Well, the last I saw him, he was off. Don't blame him, that left 10 of us. So.
Yeah.
And you know the rest.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was it next?
You said Bofors. I mean, how did you know they were good? Because did you see them in action?
I saw them firing, but that's about all.
Where did you see them firing?
No, from the side of the hill where they had us. You know.
In Babone?
Yeah, but just up the hill a bit. Just about, I'd say, about a mile.
So while you were captured, you could see these planes?
Oh, yeah, see, they was bombing and carrying on, you know. Then,
you can see that from up at Assawi.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't far away.
So you can see the planes being shot down all over the bloody place.
I never saw them shot down, no.
But you saw the tracer going in?
Yes. I never saw them shot down.
Did you ever hear the artillery, the Bofors artillery heading your way?
Oh, no.
Okay.
The only ones I didn't want to remember anymore was our own blokes when they were shelling us the next morning.
So you're sitting in this hut. Now, which hut were you in?
We wasn't sitting there, we were tied up in it.
Okay, you then walked with the stuff in your hands.
Oh, that was all taken off of that.
Yeah, you then walked
the day before.
You walked across the bridge.
Bridge?
Yeah, the bridge at Assawi. Assawi Ridge. You got to cross.
Oh, Assawi, Ridge. I thought it said bridge.
Yeah, you were walking. You walked across the bridge. Were you? Which huts were you in? Were the ones
in the one in the centre of the road? There was a hut in the centre of the road, and another one on the left, facing down the hill. There was another one on the left,
Yeah.
where they took us from that.
Now, the
middle
centre
up
of the
that-
road, you mean the junction?
The junction,
The
yeah,
fork.
right. That where the junction was like that,
Yeah.
and we was in the centre hut.
Yeah.
They took us that night into one on the outside, and then they brought us back into the centre hut the next morning,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when our fellas opened up into the mortars.
Okay. So you said, okay, and how were you tied up or just locked in?
Tied up, and as I said, they undid our hands from behind us and tied them in front of us, but they done mine pretty bloody loose.
Was it the same piece of rope that tied you guys all together, or?
No, they're all different
Okay.
ropes, so I never took much notice.
So who was in your group?
Well, as I said before, we were all split up. There was Ellis Hawks, Dave, Dave someone, I can't think of his name now. Because you've got to remember, they just got us from individuals, you know,
Yeah.
stuck us all together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fellas I didn't know.
Okay.
But I can show you some photos of out in the Doom Battalion. There's
Yeah.
some of the photos
Mm-hmm.
in that. Point a couple of them out.
Okay.
But you forgot their faces, what they are now.
Yeah.
But you can never forget the incident.
Yeah. So you were in this hut, and you started hearing the mortars landing around you. And
That's the next morning, and that went on for hours, you know.
is there anything else that you can think of that happened that night while you were in captivity? Did the Japanese all right?
They never treated us bad there.
Yeah.
It's only when our fellas, I think, was just about on top of them on the side that they took us out and shot us. But there's no need for them to do that.
Were you in the same hut? When
All
when
in the
took
same
you out?
hut we were.
Yeah.
And the two, me and Crowe was the only two that got away, as I said, apart from Ellis Hawks.
Yeah.
But as I said, he died later on. I only found that out a few weeks ago, about what happened to him. What happened after that, I met up with him later, and he said, we'll go up into the hills. I went up in the hills with him,
Yeah.
and these bombs would come down in the middle of the night. And I said, bloody hell, now we found our way, I'll never know.
Yeah.
And we come down, we were right down to the main road again. We was watching this Jap on one of our captured motorbikes. He was going backwards and forwards and couldn't get it going properly. He'd get it going and then stall on him. And we had no rifles or nothing. And anyway, we waited till dark and we crossed the road and went across the end of Copang Bay and went to the other side. And Hawksy said, I'm going back. I said, well, you can go back on your bloody own, I'm not. And thank Christ I never. He had a sergeant, a brother of his in the 42. He was a Sergeant Hawks.
Yeah.
And I never ever saw Ellis again after that.
Were there any windows in that hut where you were?
Oh Christ, no, it was just bloody bung huts, you know.
It was just a hut.
Just bloody,
No windows. It was like a storage hut.
oh Christ, no.
And mud floors. It was just
Mud
thatched,
floor
yeah.
and just thatched, you know.
So it'd be pretty easy to
It's a
break
long
out.
time ago and you forget a lot, you know.
No, but was it easy to break out of? Obviously it wasn't, because
Oh,
was
Christ, we don't know if we're breaking out.
because there were probably guards outside.
Oh Christ, everywhere.
Yeah. So you could hear all the mortars,
Listen, the next day, yeah.
and could you hear Australian voices?
No. Couldn't even start dragging voices.
Did you hear Japanese dying?
Oh, yeah, well, you don't sort of
Yeah.
think about that, you know.
I mean, it must be pretty confusing to be in that hut while all this is
It
going around.
certainly
you.
was, I tell you now.
So you were then all escorted out of the hut.
Yeah, into a maize field behind the hut. It was just the edge of the maize field. And they lined us up at the tent, which left 10 of us, as I said. And I said, I remember saying, Christ, they're going to shoot us. And with that, they fired, and all the others fell back. Cried, but how he got away, I don't know. His long legs put him out of it somehow. But I don't know how I survived. I don't really know, because how the hell they leave has got me beat. Because it was only from here to that door, as I said, away from us. And when they fired, and I made a break, because I said before, my ropes and my hands were loose, a machine gun opened up from somewhere. And I cleared a fence, and the net would cut round the top end somewhere or other. He fired at me with a rifle, and I went, oh, and I fell into the lowland grass, which was on the other side of this babic fence.
Yeah.
Wait, then I tell you what, I bloody near shit myself, and I poked my head above the grass, which is the lowland grass, and as I said before, the snip officer and the private I take it to be, he had to fire at me with a revolver and he missed me.
From what range?
Oh Christ, he'd be about from here to that house away.
10 metres.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it might have been a bit longer. Anyway, he, as I said, I cleared the babic fence, went through a maize field,
Yeah.
and some bloody canes. Look, I think they might have had prickles on my pepper. I couldn't feel them.
You're generally heading away from the noise from where the battles.
Yeah, that was just about at the end of their tether. Because the next day they capitulated, and I tried to reach the 22nd Independent Company.
Oh.
And they was too far. I wouldn't have no clue where they were. And
But who else was in your group while you disappeared?
all on my own.
All by yourself?
Yeah, I left because I was only one. Because Crowy, well, I don't know what became of him after. He got away.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was on my own there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I met up with Hawksy again. That's the one that I was telling you about.
Where did you meet up with Hawks, you know?
In a bunga, he was.
Yeah.
And I said, God, Jesus, you were lucky. And I told him the story, and he said, by Jesus, I'll say. And that's when we took off and that nip on the motorbike and all that. Went to the other end of Copang Bay.
Yeah.
And we got a couple of coconuts they got for us from the top of the trees, a couple of bungs. And he said, I'm going back. I said, you can go back on your own, Ellis, I'm not.
Alice.
Ellis Hawks, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
You got a hold of a motorbike.
Who?
Did you say you got a hold of a motorbike?
No, that was watching that nip on the
okay, yeah.
You know, we could have got him if we'd had a rifle, but I don't think it'd be a bit risky to even shoot him.
How did you know you're heading east? Did you know the area pretty well?
Oh Christ, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But you know, we'd have never made it. Not the two of us.
Well, there were just a lot of.
There's hundreds of miles of it.
You were okay. There was the road that goes down to the south coast, and there's the road that goes up towards Champalong.
There's a road that goes to Champalong.
Yeah.
There's one that goes to Portuguese Timor like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on the crossroads it was.
And the hut was there, and right behind it, in the fork.
It was a maize field.
In the fork was the maize field.
Yeah, and then on the right hand side was another hut.
Now, the people were lined up against the edge of the maize field when they fired, right?
The what?
When the Japanese opened up and tried to execute you guys,
Yeah.
you were lined up against the edge of the maize field.
Yeah,
So
the maize field was just behind us.
So when they fired, the maize was apparently covered in blood.
Oh, I'm buggered to find out. I never waited to find out.
I interviewed one person and they said that you could see where they found the dead and there was blood all over the place.
Yeah, well,
did you just dive backwards into the maize
No,
field?
no. You know, I never dived backwards into it. I shot straight through them fellas when they fired.
Yeah.
And
you ran straight towards the Japanese?
No, around the front of the boys.
Okay.
And off. Yeah, when they fired and bang, they went. I kept going. I didn't wait to find out anymore.
So you didn't run into the maize field, you ran around it?
No, I went over a fence,
yeah.
Across a track, over another fence, and through another maize field.
So you're all lined up against the maize field behind, and they're firing like that, and you decided to run that way.
No, the what's name? There's the us blokes there.
Yep.
And there's the nips firing squad there.
Yep.
I ran straight across there.
Yep.
Someone fired a machine gun from over here somewhere.
Yep.
There was a babic fence here.
Yep.
I cleared that, and that's when that chap had a shot at me with a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pretended they got me, and then you know the rest.
Okay. You're running towards Copang Bay. Okay.
Hey?
You're running towards Copang Bay direction. You're heading north.
Heading north, yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, I've got the spot. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
And anyway, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And then I took off on my own. I went into a bunga, I remember now, and the woman started crying when she seen me. Poor native woman, and she gave me something to eat, if I remember right. And And I took off on my own again.
You must have thought the Japanese were pretty poor shots.
I'm bloody glad they were. Well, they wasn't too poor for the other poor buggers.
Yeah.
No, they got it. I don't know how they. I couldn't tell you to this day. That's honest to God, I couldn't tell you. I just went for my bloody life. I was bloody scared.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And
not too good, is it?
it's a thing you never forget.
And you met up with Alice Hawkes in the Bung Hut.
Yeah, in the Bung Hut, yeah.
Yep.
And then we went up into these bloody hills where all these bloody Timorese were, and they were a bad lot of bastards. The Rotanese were good. They were ones along the coast, as you know.
Yeah.
The Rotanese are on the coast, and they helped us.
Yeah.
And well, they helped me until I met up with some more Aussies later on.
Who did you meet up with?
Oh, it was about 6 or 7 of them. I got. What happened? I had a big. You still got to see the mark there, the little one.
Yeah.
They'd come out like that. It was a big ulcer.
Yeah.
So they got a little Timor pony, and they run me around. It was a Dutch bloke sent me a letter, and I kept it for years. I wanted that. If you are well enough to go with me, I will send this boy who bring you this letter. I am waiting for you, your friend, Sergeant Major Branders. I'll always remember that letter. Yeah. And I had it for years and years, and God only knows what had become of it. I was going to keep it and all.
Yeah.
And anyway, they put me on this Timor pony, and I come into this bloody hut, and these Aussies had weapons and all. I don't know who they were. They was that bad of our battalion, but because we'd been the reason for it, and I wouldn't have known.
Can I run some names past you? West Fitzallen.
There was one bloke I remember. They sent me a letter. His people did here about 12 months ago, wanting to know about him, and I remembered that name, but I can't think of it now.
Western Fitzallen. You had a Dummy Armstrong.
Dummy Armstrong, yeah. He was a good soldier, Dummy Armstrong, they tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you met up with these 7 people.
Oh, it must have been roughly that. You know.
So this is still within Kopang Bay.
Yeah.
You're not out in Champalong or Adamboa.
No.
You're in that area.
You come up the end of Kopang Bay, and all these few little villages, I suppose. A place called. God, I'll think of it in a minute. Captivity.
Yeah.
If I think it was one. Orton was the name of another bloke.
Orton.
Yeah. I wanted to go to Australia in a native boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was only young and silly, you know. But, I'd had to go to bloody Australia in the boat. I was getting away from the bloody place. And anyway, I went. He said, "You're going to come and give yourself up, son." I said, "Not in your life." I said, "I'll shoot you," because it was still on my bloody mind. And anyway, he said, "Well, you're coming over with me." So we got in a native boat and we crossed Kopang Bay again, and our camp was right on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, who should walk along the bloody beach was Captain Madden.
Yeah.
And a little Nick. And before all that happened, Orton, no, that was earlier, no. We went across, in the native hut, that's right. They kept us there, and Orton, he said, "Are you going to give yourself up?" I said, "No." And with that, he went back and died the next day with a poisoned hand. Yeah. And anyway, I went back, that's why I was getting a bit mixed up. I went back across the Kopang Bay, in the capital, I think they called it, across to the other side of the bay. And that's when I came back, and Captain Madden, we come back here about a week or so later, and Captain Madden come along, and I shot my hands in the bloody air because I was frightened, you know.
Yeah.
Only natural, I suppose. And anyhow, they got 2 bamboo poles and a couple of rice bags, stuck me on it, and I said, "Get a load of this as I'm going through this camp." And Eric Keenan said, "Christ," he said, "get a load of powerful," and that's how I got my nickname.
So you got your nickname because you were carrying this equipment as...
No. I got my nickname because when they picked me up, I thought we might be mixing up a bit.
Yeah.
It was Captain Madden that picked me up with his nip and backed me on this bloody 2 rice bags and 2 bamboo poles.
Yeah.
Carried me in the camp. I sat up and I'm going like this and Red Ned Keenan saw me. I said, get a load, because I'd lost a lot of weight. And he said, Christ, he said, get a load of powerful. And that's how it came in. That went into the prison camp on a supper bazaar.
Okay. Now, what I can't get is you're in Kopang Bay and you're going on this native boat and Captain Madden saw you.
No, this was the second time, you see. As I said before, the first time I went across, I went into this bunga with Orton and I eaten a big hole all day.
Yeah.
And he went along to give himself up and died the next day of the poisoned hand. So I went back to the other side of the river again.
Yeah.
So I might be mixing you up a bit too. And we waited there for about another week, and that's when I decided that I had to come and give myself up, so I did. And that's when they took me right to the end of where the prison camp was, on the beach there.
Yeah.
And that's when Captain Madden and this nip put me on the stretcher.
Yeah.
And took us into a supper bazaar. And we were on the huts right on facing into the beach.
Yeah. And it was because of your posture that they called you powerful.
Yeah. Carrying on being a bloody sleep.
You were being carried, or were you carrying?
No, we were being carried on the stretcher.
And you were like that.
Yeah, I said, get away.
So you were holding on to the bamboo like from behind, above your shoulders.
Oh no, I suppose I would. No, I must have sat up as I was going into the camp.
Oh, okay.
And
you were showing your muscles.
Yeah, and I said,
okay.
This, you know. Well, I was only went down about 6 stone.
And so who called you powerful?
Red Ned Keenan.
Okay.
And that stuck to me.
You've had a nickname ever since.
Yeah.
Just God, you look powerful.
Yeah, powerful, yeah.
How much weight do you reckon you lost?
Well, I reckon I was down to about 5 or 6 stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost a lot of weight. We had no food much hardly. We couldn't expect the bulls to give it us. We never had it much.
Okay. So, did you go straight to the hospital sick area when you first arrived?
Oh, if you could call it a bloody hospital, I never went into it. No, as a matter of fact, they treated me in the bloody in the huts.
So you joined up with
and we used to join the rice rush then. You get all the burnt rice on the bottom of the bloody barrel. And then I never went back and got home, but to try and I'll always remember that. Okay, Jesus.
So you joined Strickland, your platoon. You joined your platoon in their hut.
Oh, yes, more or less. Or we got split up a lot. Mm-hmm. Some were our own platoon and some are not. But most of them were. Yeah. There was Maury Banks and Darcy Banks, they were brothers.
Yeah.
One, Harold Plunkett, he died on the Burma Road. I can't think of all their names now.
Okay. Yeah, but you said you've got tropical ulcers. But
I didn't get them as bad as the other fellas.
No.
The blokes who got the ulcers, the ones that had eaten, they were swine. They were cruel. Mine was like a big boil that came out like that.
Okay.
And but I was lucky.
Yeah.
See, some of them, as I said, you'd see the bone all the way up their leg.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough not to get that type of an ulcer.
Mm.
But the others I did.
Who treated you for your tropical ulcer? Was it
there was
Dr. Brown.
Yeah,
there's
Dr. Brown Pointerman and
Hecking.
Doctor, he was a bonza fellow, that.
Hecking.
Yeah, I had a lot of time for him.
Yeah.
And so did the rest of the boys. He was a man and a half, that Hecking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right the oath he was.
Strong Dutch accent?
Yeah, he was he was over 6 foot. I bet he'd be 6 foot or more.
Yeah?
Yeah, a bonza fella. I wish I could find that book. It's where it mentioned him, where he died. One of those bamboo and that. I'll look it up for you anyway.
Okay. But what else was life like in a sub? Pretty good?
Oh, wasn't it? But you didn't get the bashings there like you got on the main there, on the other place. They were frontline soldiers.
Yep, so they were right.
They were soldiers, really. But if it had been the paratroopers, the ones that were left, I wouldn't have liked to have been under them. They were real bloody sadists. But the ordinary Japanese soldier wouldn't associate with them.
Yeah. How long did you reckon you were out in the bush?
About 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
What time? Do you remember the date you came back into South Passat?
Oh, I can't remember that, no.
Okay. Was Clyde Mackay captured after you came in?
That I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
No.
Oh, Clyde would be able to tell me that.
Oh, Clyde's got everything written down. Yeah,
he would actually remember your nickname.
If you ever say to him, our blokes are guarding the Japanese in what's name, oh Christ, he'll perform.
You mean Australians are guarding the Japanese in Iraq?
Yeah. Gee. I said to Leo, I said, Christ, I'm not going to say nothing to Clyde, he'll go off his bloody rocker.
I'll give him a ring tonight to find out whether he was in the camp when you got your nickname.
Oh, he'd be there.
Yeah.
I'd say he'd be there, yeah.
See,
but he wouldn't have known me much in those early days because we were the last reinforcements and they were originals, you see.
Yeah.
See, us blokes were pretty young fellas.
Yeah.
And the biggest majority of us was anyway.
Yeah. Did you ever work dirty jobs for the Japanese?
No work.
No,
worked in bloody tunnels and Christ knows what. On the Changi airdrome.
No, I'm talking about on Timor. Did you have any jobs?
Yes, they put us out to truce, some of us, and we were gardening, that's about all.
What was that like?
Oh, it wasn't too bad.
Did you get malaria?
Yes, I did there, yeah. Yeah, we got malaria.
How many times
I was taking a decent nip out there.
Yes?
Yeah, he was Yoshida was his name.
Yeah.
And he said, I was shivering and shaking with malaria.
Yeah.
And he said to me, why don't you get some perfect English? And he said to me, why don't you get some quinine tablets? I said, Yoshida, I said, the Dutch doctor hasn't got any. He said, wait here. And he speak perfect English.
Yeah.
And he walked me to his own guardhouse. He came out, he gave me a handful of quinine tablets, which I gave some to the Dutch doctor.
Yes.
And anyway, he said, do not tell the other Japanese soldiers that I gave you these. See? You got the odd one that was all right.
Yeah.
I struck another one in Singapore too.
Yeah.
As I was getting off the boat. One drove his bloody rifle butt into me bloody back as I was helping me down the gangplank. And this other little nip rushed up and said something in Japanese to him, made me lay on a bench. Took out his own little, what he had on the side here. I forget what it was now. Something to eat. Anyway, he gave it to me, and this is true. And that was it. And then they stuck us on the truck and took us out to Changi.
Changi jail or Salary?
No, it was Salary at first.
Pretty overcrowded when you...
Yeah, Roberts Barracks and Salary.
Yeah.
And we were in both. And then when the women and children moved out of Changi jail, they stuck us fellas in it. There was 3 men to a 1-man cell. And along the front in front of the cell was this big wire mesh. We used to go right along it. You know, you could see right down to the bottom floor. Yeah. Had a rail in the front of it and one at the back. And all the blokes had to sleep along there too. Yeah. And later on they built these huts out the back of the jail, which I finished up in the finish. Yeah. And we were sleeping on the concrete kitchen floor, big heaps of us, down in the jail. And anyway, when they got these huts built, they put us in there. I tell you, I was glad to get out of that bloody jail. Yeah. Although I'd say this, the jail doors wasn't blocked. You could go out around the perimeter any time. Yeah. You could walk out of the jail gates. I've got a photo. Oh, you'll know it's a Changi jail anyway.
Been there?
Yeah. I took the wife in there too.
Fascinating. They're still using it as a prison.
Yeah, I think they're going to pull it down.
Well, there's a lot of it. They're not going to put it that way.
Okay.
But the Singaporean government will not pull it down. They've got plenty of space to build other bits. Yeah, they'll keep it. It's got too much of a history.
Yeah, it has, and
it's exactly as it was back then. The perimeter wall and
yeah, they've cut a big block through that wall, you know, to get out to the other side.
Yeah.
And right on the end, as you know, there's a road runs right round just inside the jail gates. There's another road runs right around it, see?
Yeah.
And that's where they used to count us. That's our particular section.
Yeah.
But I wasn't showing off then, because I knew how to count a bit of Jap. We had to count in Japanese. And our orders was in Japanese.
Yeah.
Like, you say Kashira Dari, which was always left. Kashira Mamigi, which was always right. And things like that, you know, and Bango, Kiotsuki.
Kotsuki, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I was wondering, did you ever work at the port, unloading rice? From
Yes, yes, we used to work at the ports in Singapore.
No. We're back to Timor. You worked on Taurus? Did you ever go hunting?
In where?
And Taurus.
Taurus, no, I never.
You never went hunting?
No.
Okay, how many times do you reckon you had malaria on Timor?
Oh, Christ. Over the period, Timor and the rest, I reckon they'd have 30 odd times.
Did you ever help with burial detail?
With what detail?
Funeral detail.
Yes, several times.
Okay, did any of your mates die on Timor?
Oh, quite a few, you know.
Yeah. And what do they die of?
Mostly malnutrition.
Malnutrition.
And things like that, you know, and they probably get malaria or, you know, cerebral malaria or something like that. And
okay.
because there was thousands in Changi, you know, with pommies and all.
What about Timor?
It was only the battalion I was there. There'd be roughly about, I'll say roughly 1,000 men, or there wouldn't be that many left, but...
Yeah. Oh, we've just lost the order of things. I'm just trying to get back to Timor because I'll figure out how you ended up in Changi. Did you used to unload the rice at Kopang Harbour?
Kopang Harbour?
You never went down to Kopang Harbour and
Oh,
unloaded the boats?
No, I never worked down there.
Did
not,
you?
Not on Kopang Harbour, I never. We used to work, as I said, out at the gardens. Some of us was split up and sent out there just for a few months.
Do you remember Jack McAllister?
Yeah, McAllister, yeah.
Can you tell me about him?
Oh, McAllister now. Let me think, I've got to remember now. Revive my memory a bit about him.
He was the RAAF pilot that was shot down.
Oh, Christ, yeah. I knew it run. You know who I was getting him mixed up with?
Who?
That little bloke you was talking about this morning. He's a bit like him to look at. God, a little moustache he's got.
Sol Emerson.
Yeah, a bit like him to look at. Yes, McAllister.
Yes, you're right, he does, yes.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, with the round face.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Do you remember McAllister, do you?
Yeah, my granddad used to shave him every day.
Yeah, well, anyway, McAllister, I know that name, and I was well as my own.
Jack.
I was only talking about him the other day.
Yeah.
But when you said he was the pilot, he's
Yeah.
the only one that shot down.
Yeah.
That rung a bell.
What can you tell me about him?
Well, it's not much really, but I can tell you that this is only what I've heard, that when we were on Pinfui, not Pinfui, Supper Bazaar, there was Lieutenant Pickett, McAllister. I got an idea, I'm not sure that Colonel Leggett was there or not.
Yes, and Dempsey.
Yeah, they got on into a Japanese plane.
Yes.
Did you hear about it, did you?
Yes.
And I'm not quite sure of the full story, but anyway, apparently there's something to do with the bloody plane or something, and they got out of it without being caught. They were lucky.
Mm-hmm.
That'd have been beheaded.
Do you remember talking to him at all, Jack McAllister? Did he
I only spoke to him at reunions, you know.
Did you get any information out of him at the camp about what if Australia had fallen and all that sort of stuff?
Oh yes, he'd tell us, you know, as much because he was in pretty close to it himself.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't too far away from us when we were caught.
The Japanese never bothered to tell you, keep him separate from everyone else.
No, but then they never separated the officers or anything from us.
No.
See?
Okay.
That was the difference. And they wasn't in the Geneva Convention.
Yeah.
But that's why we got that few dollars a year a bit back.
Mm-hmm.
We waited that 58 years to get it.
Yeah.
But by the same time, it was still a nice have.
Yeah.
So we can't complain.
What did you do with it? 25,000.
Well, I still got some of it, but so I bought the missus a new car.
Okay.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah. Hey, Okay, I'm going all right. How about Jack Dempsey? You heard of Dempsey? He was the British major in charge of the British battery, you know, the 79.
Oh, the 79.
Did you have anything to do with it?
No, I had nothing to do with him.
Did you have any interaction with anyone in my grandfather's battery?
No, I can't remember anything at all about him.
Yeah. Okay, but do you remember the day that the legate and all the officers were put on the ship and left the camp?
Well, I don't know whether they was on the same ship as me or
No,
not.
no.
I don't think they were.
They left before you?
Yeah, they did. There was about 3 lots of us left. And we were on the last one, the Dainichi Maru. And then the other ship we left on was the Royal Maru from Java, which we were on Java for roughly 4 months. And then they landed us on Singapore.
The Royoku, yeah. That was the one that sunk, and the guy was 3 days in the water. That was the same boat.
Yeah, well, I didn't know about that.
Longy was.
Claude Longy.
That was you were on the same boat that sunk a bit later on the war.
Was I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm buggered if I ever knew that.
1944 Ryuku.
Ryuku.
Oh. Yeah.
Was that the same ship?
Same ship.
Well, that's something I never knew.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah. So the Dainichi Maru, remember getting onto that boat?
Yeah, bloody oath I do. As it was going through Kopang, you go aboard it, was, as I said, we were the last draft to leave to Timor.
Yeah.
And as it was going there, the few Japanese paratroopers that was left, they were sitting on rice bags, and as we went past us, spitting at us, oh, bastards. And because our blokes wiped out nearly all of them, especially the 79.
They kept them on the damn island, those guys. I thought they would have moved them out. I suppose Shane would have been brought to the unit or something like that. Was it they were completely wiped out almost?
Oh, towards the end of the war, they told me the nips were pretty bloody bad. You know, even when I got a book here, I've been reading about it, where they was, cut our blokes' heads off and they were shot down or anything. Yeah, that's not. Cool.
Anyway, you're being spat on by the remaining paratroopers at the war.
Yeah, that's right.
Were they sitting on rice bags or something like that?
Yes, in Kopang, as it was going past, before we got aboard the ship. Spitting that, couldn't do a thing about it.
So you were then taken out on boats and then you climbed the rope ladders.
Can't remember
up
that.
Onto the boat?
I can't remember whether we went up ladders or not onto that ship.
Okay.
But they took us around to Dili. And they loaded some petrol, which was right at the bottom of the ship.
Yep.
And that's when our bloke came over and bombed us. That was in Dili. And then a couple of nights later, I think it was 7 days and nights on her.
Yep.
And the depth charges, they started dropping depth charges all around us.
Yeah.
And some of the boys that must have been on decks thinking them Japs firing rifles into the water.
Oh, really?
Oh, Jesus. I never saw it, but they was telling me about it. And
who did you used to in the hold? You're in the hold. Were you helping with the petrol being unloaded, or were you just sitting there watching?
Yeah, just sitting there 7 days and nights like this, and if you could stretch to lay down, you were lucky.
Who did you used to sit with? Who used to?
I tell you, Bruce Clutterbuck was one bloke that I remember down next to me.
Headquarter company. Yep.
Yeah, Bruce Clutterbuck. I knew his father too. He was in the garrison with me. He was a sergeant. Old Sergeant Clutterbuck. Poor old Bruce.
Who else?
Cross was a lot of them. Norrie Banks, but Darcy Banks.
Darcy Banks.
Yeah,
the stutter.
Stutter. Yeah.
Were you in the sick bay with Darcy Banks?
Oh, I've been to plenty of places with Darcy, but I couldn't tell you where. But anyway, they tell me it was a funny incident one day. They had to go on a working party in Singapore, in Timor, and they said, "What was the name of that password you had? Kasira Adari." And he, never mind, Darcy said, "Oh, I'll get you through." And as he went past, he saluted and he said, "Oh, get class." Yeah, that's fair dinkum. The boys was telling me about it. I never saw it. That was on the working party, and that was it. Yeah.
Did you spend any time up on deck on the Dainichi Maru?
No, only that was it. That's over the side of the boat, that's all.
Okay, and when you arrived in Surabaya, did you have a good look around and see what you were...
there was sunken ships everywhere where they'd scuttled them,
They'd scuttled them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And They put us on a train, and we jammed into this train, and as we was pulled up at a station, there was a Dutch woman, an old lady, and she had two beautiful daughters, I take it, they were lovely, and she started to cry when she saw us, and this is fair income what I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
She got money out and got as much food she could, and started to go along the train. The Jap come up with a rifle like this with his bayonet, and she went, oh, she had guts, that woman, never forgot it. That's honest, that is. That's it. I never moved from here. I was telling the Dutch girl over at the casino about it. Yeah, and this is fair income. And anyway, they put us on the train that night, and they were crying. She was, that old lady, when she saw us. Oh, and she said, where are you from? I said, Australia. Oh, she thought Australia had fallen. And no, I said, Timor. And that satisfied her then.
Yeah.
But oh, gee, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And then we left.
What was the train like? What was the carriage like? Was it?
Oh, it was all jammed into it. You know where I slept?
Yeah, what?
I slept in the toilet. And anyway, we pulled up at the station in the early hours of the morning, and I could just see through this thing, and this Dutch bloke come along with a bottle of tea, hot bottle of warm tea, and got it through to me somehow. I forget how, but he got it through to me anyway. Yeah. And I drank it. It was sweet too. It was lovely. Yeah.
Now, was the carriages, did it have...
Those proper carriages.
Did it have rows of seats down either side of the carriage and one central row of seats? Or was it like that?
I can't remember now. I know it was a passenger train.
The blinds were pulled.
Yeah, probably, and I can't remember that, whether it was along the sides or along this way, but it was all jammed and nursing one another. You bet your life on that, because they just jammed us in. And when we got down to Batavia,
yep.
There was a Jap officer in the eye called Grasshopper, most of them were.
Yeah. But
he had the bloody sword he had was nearly as big as him.
Yeah.
He was cooler and older and carrying on.
Yeah.
Big timing, you know.
Was he Korean? Or definitely Japanese?
Oh, yeah, the Japanese being an officer.
And he was waving this around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not waving it around, just bloody well.
Yeah.
Bunging on a big act, I suppose, although they were pretty brutal to their own troops.
Yeah.
They were. And then they took us to Tinjon Priok.
Did they separate you from anyone? Do you remember seeing one not being taken somewhere?
Yes, some of our blokes stayed in jail, went to the cycle camp and places like that.
So when you got off the train, that was where they sorted you all out and sent you to different places?
Our particular mob went all to the one place.
Yeah.
And see, there's the other ones before us. Yes. They were taken probably to cycle camp and other places in jail, where us blokes went to the one camp and then waited there for 4 months.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how my grandfather's group was separated from your group. Like all the British was sent up to Makasura camp, and you guys went straight to Tanjong Priok. Was there a stop before Tanjong Priok on the train, or did you go straight?
Oh no, straight there.
You went straight to Tanjong Priok.
Yes, as soon as we got to that station in Batavia,
yeah,
they piled us all into one place. That was
Tanjong
Priok.
So they never stopped and
and then they waited there for 4 months, and that's the time we'd be routed by a Jap. They stuck that thing up our arse with a bit of cellophane paper and had to test it to see if it was all right, as if they'd give a bugger. And they sent us on the Royal Maroon then.
Mm-hmm.
On the
how long were you at Tanjong Priok?
Tanjong Priok? That's on Timor, you mean?
Tanjong Priok is the port of
Tanjong Priok, I'm sorry, 4 months.
4 months.
7 months in the Supper Bazaar.
And how were you at a cycle camp at any stage?
Oh, I never went there.
Okay. Yeah. Were you with Clyde Mackay and all the group that went on the Roku Maru up to Singapore? You were there for 4 months at Tanjong Priok. Do you remember the guy? I
can't remember whether Clyde was there or not now.
Do you remember the group that went up to Burma Railway?
Oh, yeah, well there was a lot of Aussies went up on that. You see, he could have been on that.
Yeah.
A Pommy doctor stopped me from going.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then Lieutenant Smith,
yep.
I said, oh Christ, I want to go with the rest of the boys. The tucker's pretty good up there. They said, who told you that? You know, how the bloody hell would we know? And I wanted to go up with them, you see. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, you're not going. The Pommy doctor wouldn't let me go. I had malaria at the time anyway. And anyway, they went off and a lot of them never come back.
But you went on the Ryoko Maru to Singapore.
Yeah. The Royal Maru.
Yeah, the Royal Maru.
Yeah.
And you got off that boat, and how did you get up to Changi? Did you walk?
No, we never. They took us on the back of a truck to
Okay.
Changi, us particular mob.
And did you first go to Salarang Barracks or Changi?
Salarang.
Okay, and what was it like when you were in Salarang? Did you meet the Indian Sikh guards?
No,
No, they weren't there.
no.
Okay, that would have been like beginning of 1943 that you were up at Salarang Barracks.
Must have been around about.
Was it overcrowded?
You see, big 7 months, 7, 8 months. Yeah, it'd be around about that time.
Beginning of 1940. So, you managed to. So you arrived in Salarang Barracks.
Yeah.
What was it like in Salarang? You had these big built red brick buildings around.
No, they're big modern bricks, really.
Yeah.
And it wasn't real bad.
Was it overcrowded when you walked in?
It wasn't too bad. That stuck me straight in the bloody. But then things got worse as it got on. Then they took us out of the Salarang Barracks and put us into Changi Barracks.
Changi Jail.
No, Changi Barracks first. And because that was a bit from Salarang. So you go down a dip in the.
Oh, down the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, and you go over from Roberts Barracks to Salarang, I think it was then.
Robertson's before Changi, then Changi Jail.
That's right.
Salarang Barracks.
Yeah, Changi Bail's the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, they left us there, and I forget how long we was there for before they stuck us in the bloody jail. And so some of those blokes poor buggers got sent to Burma. And
Did you see the women and children at Changi Jail?
no.
Okay.
They'd sent them to River Valley Road.
Okay.
And I got an idea, I did spot them once. But I'm not quite sure it was on the
River
way.
Valley Road was down by.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. 5 minutes. So how long were you in Changi?
Oh God, must have been, let me see, 2.5 years.
So you were right there until the very end of the war.
Yeah. Oh, the funny thing.
Leggett was in there too, wasn't he?
Who?
Bill Leggett.
Yes, he was, and so was Alfie Williams. He was bloody rumming that. You know what he said to me yesterday?
What?
He said, that bloody doctor operated me, and he said he put me cock on upside down.
He put his. Yeah, okay.
You know why he puts it over. You heard he talking, yeah?
Yeah.
Alfie Williams. He always said, like, he never stuck it through your ass. Making the bloody rumming.
Alfie Williams lives up in Burnie.
Yeah, that's right. Somewhere up there, yeah, he does.
Could you tell me about Don Woolley? So you're up in Changi right to the end of the war.
Yeah.
And how did you know the war?
Actually, we were working in working camps,
Yep.
digging tunnels, and
To what?
that's where we would have been executed in, but they've got them for the invasion.
Oh.
That was digging these tunnels.